If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
Okay, so preparation part, what we're going to discuss the concept of this sum. Again, sum UI, user interface. I mean, how was it in the past? Am I audible, guys? Hello?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes.
So in this module, we discuss how was the UI earlier days. I mean, and how is it now? And why SAP has this many number of versions, and what are the options, how the options has been changed over the patch levels of the sum tool. Okay, and then we start with the configuration of the sum. Configuration of the sum means first I will provide you the access to the system which we are going to convert, and then once you all confirm that you are able to log into the system, and then we will launch the tool, and we'll see URL. I will provide you the sum URL, and we will keep clicking on the next and then setting up the parameters and stuff. We'll take it in the next 3 days. We'll see if we can convert the entire system. Okay. So, and yes, in between, even though we have some gap or some job is running for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, I would strongly recommend, I mean, I don't deviate from the topic. I will stick to that phase. I will encourage you to, in that particular phase, for example, if a phase is running, please go through that documentation of the sum tool in the help.sap.com and read that phase, because I really doubt it when you are running in your SP updates, you read the documentation, but in this case, let's try to utilize and read it whenever a phase. Concept of the sum. So yes, it's simple. We are still in the SAP conversion phase, and no, we are in the 4th step. So 3rd step we completed earlier, 5th module for in the sum preparation part. So roadmap steps 1, 2, 3, we will see what are these roadmap steps. Okay, so this part we discussed, which sum option you have to download. So one important thing is, understanding of these patch levels. Okay, so you see, for example, when you started the conversion, sum 2.0 SP10, suppose currently we are at SP12. If you see the service marketplace, just now we have seen. Let's take this example. So SP10, and you are working on the PL8, patch level 8 or patch level 9 or PL8. Let's assume that, sorry, PL8. Okay. As I said, this project runs for 6 months. Why this screen is moving? So this project runs for 6 months. What is happening? 1 second. So this, let me put it in the presenter view. Yeah, let's see if I have the control. Okay, good. So if you have the project runs for 6 months, suppose if the SP11 starts, okay, how do you do? I mean, are you going, suppose when you move to the development system, are you going to use the some latest version, or you stick to this patch level 8?
Latest?
For your development and test system. So see, the thing is, once this, see, I'm talking about 2.0 SP10 has internal patches. Okay, let's go here. Let me explain this. So suppose PL0, PL1, PL2, PL3, PL4, PL8 is over. Okay. So PL13 is the end of this. In SP10, PL13 is the last patch level. For example, you are working on this PL13, right? But after some time, SP11 has been released. So SP11 released means, so they will stop these patch levels. Okay. So, I mean, the earlier patch levels not visible in SWTC. Okay. In software download center, so in software download center, you always see the latest patch, which is SP20 and sorry, sum 2.0 SP11 in currently, which is SP12, which we can see. So now, for example, you are stuck with this PL13. So, but it is not ideal for you to change the sum, sum tool. For example, PL13 you are using, and it is strongly recommended in your dev, test and production. Once you have finalized it, you stick to that patch level and you complete it. Okay. What I'm trying to say is, even though the latest version is available during your conversion phase, please do not change the patch level. And if you are not able to get the latest one, you can raise an OSS message to SAP. It is based on the request, patch on request. Okay. If you can tell that, hey, my dev one test has been converted for so and so reasons, your project due to budget crunch or whatever it is, so and so reasons, or in a test phase, right? In the tested system, you have noticed that there is a problem, critical problem in terms of the infrastructure or something, or the go live has been postponed, due to various reasons. It could be the network issues or data center was not reliable or critical issues you have identified in the test system and which takes 3 to 4 months to fix it. Various reasons go lives get postponed, right? Based on the test system observations and stuff. Okay, that's the real life scenarios, real project scenarios. So in such cases, but even though SAP released the latest versions, you can raise to the request to the SAP and ask for this. Hey, for the first two systems, in my landscape, I have converted with PL13. Please do provide me the PL13. So patch level 13 in in SP10, so that they will provide you that particular patch for that. Or SAP, when you should have a confirmation from SAP that you go and use the SP11. But it is strong. SAP also tells you that SAP do not take a risk of telling you that go with the latest patch. They will give you the patches. So patch on request basically. So that is the use case for this slide. Okay. So how you take a decision? Suppose your project gets postponed by 3 months and then you realize that the sum tool is not available. Okay. Yeah, you can say that I have downloaded it and I have kept it in my development and test system, but still I'm telling you, you still need this tool. For other landscapes, or you don't have the copy or thing. So, but you always have to stick to the this one. And sometimes when you are working with these tools, right, PL9 and patch level 13. So have you come across a situation where SAP will tell you to go with for the latest version of this sum tool? Okay. Or sometimes I'll tell you, for example, even though we are using this particular, where is this one? SP12. Let's take the current version is sum 2.0 SP12. This is old SP12. You have an issue. Okay. Sometimes you have to postpone your current project based on this sum tool. Have you come across such a situation? SAP will ask you to wait until the next patch or the next version is released. Have you ever noticed it? For example, you are using the latest sum tool, latest patch and latest everything, but you came across an issue that your sum tool is not progressing and it has started throwing errors. So then you have raised an OSS message, but SAP will tell you that, hey, hold on and wait for the next patch to be released. Have you come across such situations? Did you get my questions?
No, not really. But
Means we
generally
had
they can release SAP notes also to fix that. Or, like
for the
yes.
SUM, yes, I have faced that issue that they asked for the latest patch. But when I started, it was in development, but we faced an issue in quality. So I asked us to use the SUM, which is the latest one.
Yes. So this is also a practical case. So even though you use the latest sum, so other customers complain or somebody, so you also face the issue. So sometimes they may give you I don't think they will give you an internal version. So that is internal version is only for the SAP internal. They will provide the bug fix with the sum tool which is under development. They will provide internally test it, but outside they will request you to wait until the latest version is available, or they will provide that particular software via consultant or via a different channel. Yes, I have seen such case. I was doing an upgrade, not in this one. S/4HANA upgrade only. So 2020 to 20 last year, 1909 to 2020, I was doing the upgrade, S/4HANA upgrade. So what happened was the sum tool what they have developed was not optimized, and the TADIR, I told you, right? The objects which doesn't belong to SAP, it started deleting it. So the code was not, the sum tool was not adjusted to handling such a situation properly. Okay, that was the problem. So what we did, there is no other option. So you cannot go and do manually tweaking that. So we have raised an OSS message. So SAP has acknowledged that, hey, this is okay. They asked us to wait another 2 options they gave. So either they can give us the internal version of the sum tool with a fixed DVD link, which I mean the sum tool path, we can use it, or they asked us to wait for another 15 days so that they will release a next patch level with clear with the regression testing and everything of that tool, and they said they will release it. Okay, yes, they also release as an SAP note, as you rightly said, with the alternate, and in the SAP note itself, they will give a link from where you can download also that particular internal version. Okay, so when you go to the service marketplace, such sum tool will be given as a star. This is not finally tested one or the final version. I mean, two versions will be available. They will put a version. It is still under development, but it can be used in so and so cases that they will give you. So, I mean, I'm giving you the background. I mean, you may encounter such a scenario, especially in SAP S/4HANA conversion, you may encounter. Okay, because with a huge number of, we don't know. I mean, each customer has each tools, and these integrations is code different. Everything is different. As and when based on there, that's why these many patches for some tool. You know, see PL one SP itself, 2.0 SP10 itself, you can see PL0 to PL13. So many patches. Same with the SP11. So every time when a customer reports it, they will fix it and they will release an SP. So they continuously do it. So the frequency is not so 1 month or 2 months, but every 15 days or 20 days, as and when they realize there's a problem, they release the latest version. But yeah, just have this background. So it doesn't mean that you have to stick to it. It is ideal to stick to it. I mean, whatever SP level you have used for your production copy data conversion, use that in your across landscape. But even during that time, that patch level is not sufficient or some issues in handling the objects, then you have to wait for the next patch level with the SAP's recommendation. This is how you deal with it. Okay. So some implementation scenarios and example, I think in the conversion overview, the second module itself we discussed where we need to use what. So we'll just look into the third option. It just max DB or Sybase DB to the other DB. So only here DMO and some with the DMO option, it's just a migration, or you can use your traditional export import method. So ours is the last one, SAP S/4HANA conversion with the DMO. So source DB is not, remarks is not in HANA DB. So ours is max is Sybase DB. So from this version, we are moving to the SAP S/4HANA server with the SAP HANA DB. Okay. So good. Major sum guide for support package. Yeah, same thing. So you have to download, OS dependent as I've shown you. So with the DMO or with the DMO, you download this thing. That's it, these books. Now, the sum UI. So user interface, good. So you have seen this screens, right? So the UI is available starting from sum 1.0 SP12 on demand. And it is standard starting from UI 1.0 SP13. Okay, the new user interface. Again, as I said, SAP is trying to make this whatever the tools, right, interactive tools, these dashboards and Fiori and all, they are all making it an HTML based or a UI5. So same thing, they have introduced this new user interface. But earlier, if you guys remember the sum tool old days, the UI is different. That was based on the Java. Has anybody worked with old UI and current UI?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So old UI was the Java based and the current UI is the Fiori based. Fiori not, you can't call it Fiori, HTML or UI5. Fiori also UI5 basically, user interface 5, that SAP UI5 component. Okay. So see, yeah, you can see until 2015. Okay, I have given this slide. Old UI Java applet. So this was created on the Java and used to have a sum controller. And this tool also they have excellently modified. And since 2016, from this sum 1.y SP13, whatever we get it, it is a very clean and nice UI. So with the Billy's theme, standard theme, high contracts theme, some themes also available. So one thing, can somebody explain me what is the difference between old sum tool and the current sum tool while launching? When you are launching,
We don't need The MOBA exterm or something. It's just a
Yes.
HTML UEFI, no?
Here
You
we
need.
will just generate the link in the new one, and in the older one we need to set the environment variables, do that,
Ah,
and so many things.
yeah, it was very painful. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
so the exceed we have to set, mobile XTerm recently I started using, but exceed, you have to set that
Yes.
exceed and X clock, you have to launch it. So if
Yes,
that
yes.
Yes.
clock launches, okay. So, okay, if that clock launches or somebody is, or Xcal, see calculator, okay. The moment we see it, then we feel very happy. Oh God, it is working. So, I mean, launching the tool itself is so scary. I was like 3 years experience at that time, and whether it launches or not, that skepticism will be there. Fine. What if it doesn't work? What if some environment variable was not? So it was very pain. I mean, it was unnecessary tension during that time. So, but SAP somehow addressed it. So thanks to SAP, at least with the tools also they have improved. So 2-3 areas they have done a very good job. One is the tools, there's no doubt, and still there is improvement. Okay, I'm not saying that they are doing very good, but compared to what they were, they are doing very very good job. And then the another one is the documentation. Oh God! So initial days was a nightmare working with SAP's documentation. So we don't know where they update and what they update, and reading the note itself is a very painful thing. It will refer to 100 notes. Okay, you go to the note, like we have seen one note, right? He was asking persistent memory. They could have given a direct link for that HANA guide or explain it over there or with a section. So they're just saying that go and read it in a HANA admin guide. So where do you 1,000 pages of document? Okay, but still there is an improvement. But that's how SAP we have to live. So same in UI, as the overview, the sum tool we all knew, roadmap steps contains several hundred phases. Okay, believe me, I know you all know, but just a rough estimation of how many phases this particular tool runs. It runs several hundred phages. Okay, so just a overview for you. When we launch, we will get to know. And logs, you can see the logs, and then you can see the breakpoints, and then help. In help also you see some utilities, some guides, some notes. So everything is available from one particular UI. It is a significant improvement when it comes to the tool. Okay, phase list of this particular roadmap tab. For example, you are in the extraction, what all phases it is running. So you remember earlier, in general, we look into the logs from the, these many options are not available from the sum tool. Okay, and even though they are available, we always go to the OS level and we'll check the logs. But now you don't have to. So the moment you go to the logs, so it will tell you which of the file is getting updated. So you can see clean details of what is exactly happening. And also they have given these utilities. I will show you what are these utilities. Has anybody used these utilities? Can you, this button?
Don't remember.
Yes, we
Yes, I
yes,
have
we can
used it.
reset it from here, and some features are there.
We can update the parameters here, like to optimize the some
Hmm.
run and all.
One more
Like
interesting thing, again,
R3
graphs.
trans. Yeah.
Graphs. Have you seen the graphs? See,
Yes.
Yes.
SAP is, in the name of these graphs, they are selling it as an intelligent enterprise. Intelligent enterprise suite. Just incorporating these visual dashboards and these graphs, they're just selling it as an intelligent, but it is not as intelligent as whatever ML applications are outside available. Yeah, they just did it, and they're showing the data as a graphical view. That's it. Okay. So, intelligent enterprise or the machine learning capabilities, don't think that it is doing too much of these things. But yes, it just show you the graphs. So have you heard of this SAP Leonardo?
Yes.
I've heard of it. Yes.
Yes.
Hmm. So is it still there or they shut it down?
I don't think anyone has used that one at all.
Hmm?
3 years back it was there,
Yeah, yeah.
but not sure about now.
Let's discuss about this.
Now we are not hearing it about at all.
If you are okay with that, I'll discuss 5 minutes about it. Is that okay?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, they renamed it to a different thing. SAP Leonardo, it was one of the uh, top marketed or the published within SAP also there was too much of boom. They have created, hey guys, can you go on mute? Whoever is so they have created a buzz within SAP also. They have created one big building, you know, for the Leonardo with a big logo, SAP Leonardo, machine learning and all. They recruited with a high pace and all these things. See, what happened is entire business community thought, okay, SAP is going to come up with a big bang with this machine learning capabilities and they're going to solve all our problems. You know, right? Market people, business doesn't even aware of it. Business thinks that, oh, I'm spending because each company is spending 500 crores, 1,000 crores a year for maintenance of their SAP. Forget about licenses. So 1,000 crores minimum they are spending in terms of the maintenance. They thought that, oh, SAP can come up with such kind of beautiful features. So, we can shut down, we can reduce this maintenance activities by a half. SAP also promised like that. Hey, we are coming up, invest, put so much money, purchase this Leonardo. So they sold like anything, that Leonardo license. Okay. By telling them. So business people, whatever they come and tell that, for example, this hospitals guys, for one guy, one customer, I've seen a video in YouTube, that guy's frustration. So he wants to have centralized data of all the patients' data, and then on top of it, he wants to assess it. Oh, so which of these patients are sugar prone or diabetic prone based on their previous data and thing. SAP said, okay, let's do it. We will do with SAP Leonardo. We will put machine learning and all. So after a year, so that customer was asking, you give me the solution. I don't care whether you do it in machine learning or whatever it is. You do UI5 or HTML, whatever the software you wanted, please give me the solution. That's it. So there were many customers who were not able to get whatever they wanted. See, the reason is SAP is still ERP specifically is not yet moved to the cloud. Okay, so still 60 to 70% of cloud, in the sense, what I mean to say is cloud infrastructure. So cloud infrastructure, they have to go. I mean, just for base, these are not small requirements. The business requirements, what they give, or the automations, what they expect, they're not small. So it was a complete wrong assessment of what they can deliver with the existing ERP. Okay. So once these customers move to the SAP S/4HANA or the cloud, then they could have done a fantastic job. So their theory was immature at that time when the Leonardo was introduced. That means the user interface. They didn't have this analytics, SAP Analytics Cloud was not there at that particular time. And in addition to that, so they do not have HANA also, not many customers have moved. They do not have customer exposure or customers running and learnings, basically, the issues. They were still struggling with Fiori user interface and this HANA. So it was a wrong time, wrong business idea has been thrown to the market. Okay. So that was a complete failure and they shut down the SAP Leonardo. Okay. Now the SAP Leonardo was no longer there. Okay. So now the whole thing is, but those features, whatever is relevant, they have incorporated within the S/4HANA. They are calling it as an intelligent enterprise. But yes, certain tasks they have achieved certain level of automations, but still there is a very long way to go. Okay. That's the background of SAP Leonardo. Very interesting one. Good. So now this UI5, where we have deviated is this utilities, where they have introduced based on the some data or the process you have defined. It will give you the current status of how many processes running and how many of them are completed. They have given a beautiful visualization. That is very good. I mean, when you run that tool, we keep getting bored, right? I mean, until that phase is complete, you can come here and you can look into those graphs and all. I mean, it will simply time pass. Or in front of your customer, I mean, I like it. In front of the customer, what I do is, I mean, when I'm in a customer location, I mean, you can also do it because they ask you to project it on a big screen or a big monitor to keep it. So I'll keep it and I'll keep that visualization of the graph on the screen so that it is very nice. So, the managers likes it. Even the client side, they will be impressed. Oh God, this guy has put it there. Oh, I know what is my status. So every half an hour he comes and you don't have to ask me. He will check the status and he will go. So that is very important. I mean, when you are running this pre-processing phase where it runs for 18 hours or 20 hours, so you keep that screen open on your big screen and you sit it over there. It's nice. So all of you can monitor that. Okay. So that visualizations they have given in this UI. So these are the UI changes. Now, So roadmap steps, execution, configuration, checks, pre-processing, extraction. So extraction, configuration, checks, pre-processing, execution and post-processing. So we can divide this entire conversion into these 6 roadmaps. Okay. So we will talk about each of these phases when we work on it, or I can give you the basic. Extraction means it just tries to extract the SAR files which we have provided, and the configuration phase is nothing but we will define the uptime, how many processes have to be used, and downtime, how many processes have used, so on, so things will define. And checks phase, it will check the entire system. I mean, it will check for any transports which are yet to be released, and it will also check for the update errors if there are any, and if there are too many logs, so certain things it will check, and it checks those things, and we'll see in each phase. And then we get into the pre-processing. Pre-processing phase is, I mean, it creates a shadow instance, and it will do the shadow instance, and it will copy the tables and where it will do an upgrade. Okay, we'll see when it goes to the pre-processing. But for now, just try to understand execution and then pre-processing. And have you heard of this upgrade ANA XML file?
Yes, it will be having the exact timing for all the phases to make
Yes.
it accurate.
So, I mean, if you have can be more accurate with this file. I mean, once you copy your sandbox system with your production, once you have run with the complete your mock runs and all, I mean, you know that each phase how much time it can take. So in your sum folder, you can replace with that particular file so that it can assess properly. Okay. So yeah, there is a back button, and I mean, self-explanatory, works in special cases. Next continues with the next phase. That's it, back and next. So that's how because we are talking about UI. So this is an UI on Windows. I mean, I have never used this UI on any other laptop. So this is, so this one is, yeah, utilities. Hey, where is this? So utilities, yeah, each thing, what all it contains, just have a look at it. But anyway, we will see. So when you click on this, these dots, I mean, 3 lines, right? 3 lines on the right side. So you can see the color schema, colors, and then utilities. So utilities will have this sum parameters, as you rightly said. Yes, in this screen you can change the sum parameters. So it also has the sum phase list, sum analysis, and process control center. So this is where you can see the migration monitor. I mean, how many processes it is using and all. So DMO migration preparation, and then the post analysis. So in the phase list, so you follow this arrow, all phases of SAP UP. I will tell you. So has anybody looked into these phases in your previous? So you can see all the phases, and you don't have to go to the conversion guide. Even the conversion guide is accessible from that particular sum tool itself. That's a good part. So documentation, visualizations, logs, and then the breakpoints, everything they have introduced in this one. Okay. So some guide, if you click some note, it will take you to the latest SAP help portal. It will take you to the SAP logtail legend, and these are all we'll see. So these are the main utilities. Is the something which is interesting to use. So can somebody explain me what is this breakpoints?
These are the phases where Sumo will ask you for some inputs or maybe before downtime starts. So these are the breakpoints which will be mentioned here. Where Sumo will stop and will ask you for some of the inputs or parameter entry.
So who will keep that breakpoints? Hello.
It's
Who
predefined. It's predefined. I think something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. It's not predefined.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
This can be used like before shadow instance creation if you want to do some step at the OS level. So we can put a breakpoint before pre-processing phase, like
Yes.
just after the check or before shadow instance creation, in order to complete the step which we have to do for shadow instance. Just an example, maybe similarly it can be used.
So see, you have these many phases, right? You see, when you click on this task list, there are a lot of phases, hundreds of phases. Okay. So one example, as you said, shadow or kernel switch phase, there are or checks phase. So at particular phase, you want to stop the sum tool, where you want to go and check certain manual activities in the system, or your developers would have told you, hey, before you go proceed that particular phase, please do let me know. But you cannot keep monitoring the system, right? See, for example, it will ask you next, but you want to break it in that particular task list. You getting the point? So for example, configuration, one particular, see, LC check. LC check is a part of one task list in this here, task type. Okay. So you want to keep a break at LC check. Okay. So if the moment the main task is executed, it will keep on executing LC check, migration, DB query, all these things, but you want to keep a check here. So, I mean, there is no, I mean, you can't stop it manually over there. So for that, to keep a stop, hard stop, so you set it this breakpoint. Okay. Set it that at that particular LC check, you stop it. That's it. Your sum tool will go to that particular state and it will stop there. So you do your manual step and then you remove that breakpoint and then it will continue over there. Okay. So that is the, I don't think very frequently we use it, but still at times SAP recommends you to, at certain things, if there is some issue with your conversion or something. So SAP will tell you that, use that particular phase, you do certain workaround. So if they give you some note or workaround, so you stop it and then do it. Okay. In such cases, you need these breakpoints. Good. So then configuration of the sum.
I have a question, Nishant, on this. Earlier there was a phase, there was a point of reset of SUM. So now it's not there. Maybe I have not used since long. So did SAP removed it, the reset of SUM?
It should be there.
No, it will be there,
Should be
Nilesh. It's there. I don't know why it is not showing in this screen, but it is there. Some reset. There will be option here.
Yeah, that's
To
what
reset.
means. I got
Yeah.
confused because it is not there in this utility, so I got confused. It's removed or there is a new feature of that. Okay.
We'll see. When we launch the tool itself, we will explore it. Okay.
Okay.
So it should be their reset option, or they have introduced compare. We'll see. We'll explore it. So and then this one parameter configuration of the sum. Yeah. If see OS level, definitely you have to create. OS level, you have to create a folder, conversion development system in this case. Once. Hello. Yeah. Yes, regarding. Sorry. So, okay. So this one conversion development, create one sum folder. So then you can create the file. So this folder must contain the stack XML and files calculated by the maintenance explorer, obviously. So all those download basket, whatever you have pushed, you have to bring them to the system. And then additional files like migration, downtime duration XML file from the previous DMO run and UPG ANF file. So just so that your sum tool will give you an accurate, runtime of the each phases. Okay. And then HANA client, obviously you have to keep it here, and some folder where you have the tool related archives. This is the basic architecture of the file system. Okay. So you define this, as per the recommendation for the some thing. So some 50 GB or 100 GB. So use it. I don't 50 GB is sufficient. I mean, as per my understanding. I mean, from the conversions which I've done, 50 to 100 GB. But you keep it in a folder. I mean, where there is a lot of space. I mean, some 500 GB or something in a drive. Okay, so that you don't have to worry about the physical space when it is creating the logs and stuff. Okay. Anyway, this hard disk space is not so costly. Okay. So now running this sum tool, it is very simple. Host exe, host controller. So host controller, you have to use the recommended version of the host controller. As per the sum note, it will tell you which is the, for the given version, what is the version of the host controller you may have to have in the system. So it's just an it is an online activity host controller upgrade. I don't think you don't need any restart of the entire system. Go and exe, download that host exe from service marketplace. So minus upgrade, and then it will upgrade to the latest version. Okay, or minus archive means, and just give the path of the file archives, SAR files where you have downloaded. So upgrade it to the latest version or the available version. So minimum recommendation it will tell you, but it is always good to have the latest. Okay. So and then starting the sum, it is in Windows they have given, but just go to the sum ABAP and sum start config host agent and the SID. That's it. So path to the this one anyway we know the path, we don't have to define. Okay. So and then we have this option single system and then get roadmap. So we have not entered into the get roadmap itself. Single system and then standard configuration. So here you don't see a single system option. So the reason is, can somebody explain?
Sorry, what's your question, Nishant?
So the question is why the single system is not showing here?
Because we cannot do the DMO part in the single system because there should be a shadow instance where I think it has to, because in single system your downtime will be like from starting there will be a downtime till too much downtime. So when it comes to the standard one, it will create a shadow instance. It will do all the DB cloning and everything there, and it will upgrade and then migrate the tables there itself. So that's the reason they have removed the single for the DMO.
Yes. So single system will be there in case of an upgrade. Okay, when you are doing a system upgrade or patching. So a shadow system is built up some 1.0, no system in all, no shadow system in all other cases. Okay, so single system is not possible with a DMO or SAP S4HANA conversion or upgrade using some 2.0. So as you know, which means they have completely removed it. So what do we do? So most of our ABAP systems are 750 and above. So when we use some 2.0. So with some 2.0, they have completely removed that single system option. Okay, standard or also it is equivalent to the advanced version in the sum 2.1. So those of you who have not worked on the sum, so just don't get confused. It's just a comparison view. So you have only standard. Okay, a shadow system is built when you select this standard option, right? A shadow system is built up. The shadow system runs in parallel to the real system. So which means during the upgrade, when this shadow system is created, two systems will be running on that particular server. It may lead to little bit of performance degradation. You have to be careful. So prerequisite check tool. So have you ever run this tool? This option?
I think this doesn't come in the upgrade part. It's only for DMO.
This is strongly recommended when you are doing conversion. So as soon as your project is kicked in, right? Started. So the first thing I would request you use, do this, in the sandbox or sandbox system. Anyway, I think sandbox, you have to build it, mock system. Some people will call it a mock or sandbox. So whatever it is, so you use this prerequisite check tool, but this doesn't need, this will not do any conversion or anything, but it will give you lots and lots of insights, once you run it. So you will get, first thing is you will get comfortable with the tool. Second thing is it will give you the statistics and you will get a overview of, okay, which phase is taking my time and which is taking smaller time, and then you can tune accordingly. And it also give you an impression. See, mock system or sandbox system, you will take copy of production system, right? I always tell you. So whenever you build a sandbox or mock system, use the production system. You may think that, oh, it's just a prerequisite check tool. It will do a lot of things. Okay, it will check all unnecessary transports, these things. So in one shot, you can give the recommendation to the production, these guys, developers. So it checks a lot of things. It will also tell you what parameters has to be tuned, so and so parameters. It will also give you an hint about what is your size, database size, current size, or some tool size is not enough, suppose 50 GB or 60 GB, or if there is any cleanup needed. So these are all things it will do. So do it, one run, and then get the recommendations. So whatever online can be, fixed, you fix it and note it down in your cutover plan. Okay, because you fix them and note it down, and those things whatever needs change, because sandbox you don't need it, but here you need to document, right, whatever the issues you are addressing, because in dev and there you need a change request to implement. But in this case, you fix and those fixes and you verify in production system whether the RAM and maybe in mock system you might have a different thing. So always try to develop your mock system or the sandbox system as similar to your production system. Okay, so at least I mean, do not worry about the, yeah. So if your production has a high availability scenario, okay, I mean, and if your production has a 10 application servers, so how do you create this mock system? You create a very similar one, or how do you deal with it? Did you get my question? So I'm telling you
Yes.
that you always try to have a mock system or the sandbox system as similar to your production. At least with the data is fine. Data is always, I would strongly recommend you to get the data into the system. Okay, if possible. But how do you deal with these things? No high availability, and because it's going to be cost you a lot. It's as if like you are building a parallel system, complete landscape. I mean the production at least. So if you have a 10 application servers, what do you do?
I think application servers are not at all needed there, because the some always run in the central instance. So only one application central instance will be enough with all the copy of the data from the production system.
Yes, that is where I'm coming. So you just need the primary application server. So you don't have to bother about how many application servers it has it, and high availability also you don't have to bother. Why? So even if you have a cluster, database cluster or the ASCS cluster, you don't have to bother. Why? But yeah, so technical steps during the conversion, you have to keep it. But when you are running the, see, try to visualize this. I mean, try what you do. So during your preparation phase, or you are building a mock system to run this prerequisite check tool, do you do, why we don't need this high availability and all? Because that has nothing to do with your this thing. I mean, your conversion. So high availability is to do the high availability. Yes, you need to have, once you migrate to the thing, and how do you deal with HANA? It's a separate topic. Okay. So providing the high availability to your future system is an entirely separate topic. It's an architecture. You know, what kind of high availability you're going to have. Okay, my HANA, it has a, anyway, it's an HANA database. It has the concept of master slave concept. Okay, are you going to use that and put some 3-4 servers and define two of them are, one is master and two of them are slaves, and do that. If you have ASCS, that is a completely entirely different thing. It is as if like you are configuring the cluster. Okay, yes, it has to do with the conversion, but it has nothing to do with running this tool and assessing it, how long, database and PAS, primary application server, is more than sufficient to assess, how much time it is going to take. So high availability is a different concept and a different architecture that has to be done by the architect and define that what steps has to be done. Okay, so that has to be done once you completely migrate the system, once the whole thing is available on a single or whatever it is. So then you have to in the same day. I mean, if the plan is like to have the architecture on the same day, then you have to do it. But generally, before the conversion itself, your high availability, everything should be in place. Okay. So what is your primary database? What is your master or slave database? And then your servers, everything will be ready. Before that, your application servers and all. So during the conversion on the primary node, you just convert it. And then after that, you just enable these things. Okay. Got it? That's how you have to, anyway, those all things comes in the planning when you refer to this conversion guide, they are all included. You know how to build your servers and secondary application servers, and how do you do that, and file system creations and the space requirements, and all those things are covered. And because I'm not covering it, those are all part of the standard migration activities or high availability concept. Okay. Anyway, leave it. So prerequisite check tool. So you need only the, because the conversion happens with only pass and on the DB thing. So you don't have to worry about the other configurations or the extra configurations in your system. Good. Then reduced options in case of DMO, no keep archiving on. Okay. So additional parameters for SAP S4HANA conversion with the DMO. So we are using the standard option only, that is only available standard. So what happens is there's no single system that we discussed, no keep archiving on. So we don't have the option of archiving on. Okay. So there is an expert mode in the screen. So expert mode will give us the additional configuration options, adjust number of SAP support packages, choose instance numbers for the shadow instance. I mean, what will be the instance number? For example, your current instance number is 00. So, and your HANA instance number is 02. Ensure that you don't use any of these. So 01 or 05 or whatever it is. Okay. So reuse profile for shadow previous run. So these are all expert options you will have. So yeah, keep archiving. So no extra DB backup at the end of the process. either yes or no, that you can take a call. Okay. So table key for R3 load. Sorry. So there are options. For example, let's read out this first thing. So do not compare table contents. So row count only, all tables. Compare content of all tables via checksum, or select tables. Compare content of selected tables via checksum. So and then in the screen, migration parameters. So yeah, we all need, you know, right? We need to have a migration key, because when do we need a migration key?
When we migrate from one database to another database.
What about one server to another server?
Yeah, then also we'll be needing it will be the OS level migration.
Yes. So when you are changing a host from one host to another host, you would need a migration key. Okay. So I mean, yeah, if you just do a file copy, I don't think you need it. But yes, host to host, definitely when you are changing from DB or when you're changing from OS, you need a migration key. So which will be requested by who? R3 load. Okay, that is needed. R3 load to do export and import. I mean, so what will do? Can someone? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So what does the R3 load do?
Usually R3 load will be used for the how I can say that those support packs and everything will be there for the pushing to the new system. I cannot like R3 runs, these will be used basically.
R3, no, yeah, good that you brought this topic also. So what do you do? R3 trans, what does do? R3 load, what does do?
R3 load runs the new packages, which whatever is like coming in the system, and R3 trans deals with the I can bulk of the how I not getting the
Okay. So let's an example of you have this Sybase or Oracle database. Take Oracle database for you. Oracle database is your ERP system. Okay, and you have this. You are moving to HANA or any other database. Okay, so what is the concept? So first thing is export of the existing database. So how does the export import works? Okay. So what do you mean by when you say database export? Why can't you do a backup restore?
because there is a change in the I can say tables and then logic of the both the databases.
Logic is different. So what do you have to do? So when you are exporting the database, okay, so basically two things. Source is different, target is different, that we know, Oracle and HANA. Please follow me, guys. So how do you deal with it as a programmer or as an SAP guy when you are working? First thing is take the existing database to an DB independent format. Okay, database independent format. Okay, that is why we take an export. When you do an export, what happens exactly? So it will take the content of the database, okay, and it will create an export or the table packages in such a way that they are DB independent. Okay, so first thing that who will do that? The program which will do that task is the R3 load. So even when you are doing migration, the R3 load is the one which is responsible for taking the tables or packages of the export. I'm talking about export. Okay, R3 load is will take export of these tables into a DB independent format. Okay, number one. Number two, during the import on target database, this R3 load is the one guy who is the program. I mean, a guy, or I call it as an SAP program or the kernel program. So kernel is nothing but our executables, right, in program. So you go to the kernel directory, exe directory. So go to your server and exe directory, you see all these things. So R3 load is the one. So it will, this DB independent format files, it will import again the DB, that particular target DB's compatible files basically. So R3 load, when somebody asks what does R3 load will do, R3 load will export the files in such a way in a DB independent format, and again it imports into our database in that particular databases format. Okay, that is what R3 load will do. So R3 load is mainly responsible for the export and import. Okay, this database. So when there is a change in migration key, so who will ask for this migration key? I mean, see, R3 load anybody can trigger, right? So if you just a file and then you put it R3 load and then import and take and export it. So they want to put a check and it is getting updated. So that is why there is a migration key. Definitely an authorized person only can proceed with this export or triggering this R3 load and get this exported. Okay. So that's the background of this R3 load. R3 trans. So when you do R3 trans, have you guys explored R3 trans minus D? What do you do?
It will check the connectivity with the database from the application side.
What other options you can recollect from R3 trans? What all things
R3 trans usually will be used for the transport activities.
Yes.
Whenever the transport is getting, like apart from TP, whenever any transport is getting imported on anything, R3 trans will be the used in the database side.
Yes, yes. See, both of these guys, R3 load and R3 trans, see, R3 trans is for the same database. I mean, if you ask me, okay? So it has nothing to, so you can ask that, you can take a transport and you take a R3 trans will do on the same database, and it is responsible for connecting to the database. Number one, R3 trans -D. That's what we do when the system is not accessible. First thing what we do, we connect to the application server and we do an R3 trans -D and see if the system is accessible or not. Okay, getting my point? So if it is connecting or not, and R3 trans, you can also import OS transport, you can schedule with that, and there are options. Just click R3 trans minus help. So you'll find a lot of options what R3 trans is able to do, but it is on the same database. So if, okay, fine. Thought-provoking question. So in ABAP, you do an R3 trans minus D. In Java, how do you know that your database is accessible?
We do the config tool. If config tool is connecting, that means your application is connecting to the database.
Good. You can clear all interviews, man. So good, good. I mean, others also aware of it, right, guys? I mean, I hope we are not boring others.
Lost the touch of config tool.
No, more. At least is it making interesting?
Because knowing that, even I've seen config tool, those things for Java, even though it is not supported now, but still it's good to recollect that is
Yeah.
for me at least.
Don't tell it Mohan in front of me.
Oh, you are there, sorry. No config tool. Do you have? No, right?
We have it.
So others, if you have not heard of this question, please note and make a note of these questions. Okay, definitely in interviews, people will you on this. The moment when you say OS migration and these things, right? So I'm just giving. They look so simple, but into the deep. Okay, so R3, those of you who have not worked on Java might not know. And they may say that just R3 trans minus D, they also executed, but R3 trans doesn't exist in Java. So the transport mechanism itself is different in Java. So what tools we use in Java for transports?
Transport, it is like for transport, if we are going through the Solman, it will be a CTS or like it will be, we can say JCMon and all those things, not JCMon if I say.
Charm tool, have you heard of the Charm?
Yeah, Charm, if it is connected to Charm, it will go through the Charm, but still it will be through the CTS plus only, right?
Yes, it will be CTS plus.
CTS plus. Okay. Anyway, leave that topic. Okay, that is idiotic Java. It is Java is, compared to ABAP, Java is more stable. Java systems. So if you just start working first times, they are very good. And the thing is, SAP, especially, they don't want to, their strategy. They want to get rid of complete Java, but some are really doing good Java systems. Some, for example, Portal and all. But anyway, it's their choice. So good. Enable migration repetition. So migration key first R3 load. That is why who will ask the migration key during the conversion is the R3 load. So migration repetition option. So enable migration repetition option to optimize data migration. So this is the another important check. So like this one, right? Prerequisite check tool. So this is one thing, and again this one to enable migration repetition option means with various, if you enable it, it will ask you again to change the parameters and options it will give you. Okay. So during your mock, you may have to use this option as many. Before the conversion guide, it will give you the to do it. I would strongly recommend you to use it on your sandbox or mock system to identify the actual correct parameters or correct things. Okay. So enable the migration with system move. So this option, when do we do this? System move. So it is to change the SAP system
This is
host.
used when we are changing, like migrating from one data center to cloud or something like that. When we are
No.
changing the system host completely, the servers.
Yes. Okay.
It will become like OS.
Yes, used during OS2 configuration.
Yes. That is where I am coming from. Okay. That is the case. So you use it, but but we do all Linux only. Don't make complicated first. So and see, first of all, taking Windows to S4HANA is a nightmare. Okay, first taking Linux to S4HANA is a nightmare. And the moment you take this option, that's it. I mean, you will lose your all your confidence and all. So first thing is get rid of your Windows. Okay, so go to complete Linux. So does SAP S4HANA can run on Windows? Next question.
No, there is no support for the Windows operating system for the S4 HANA or HANA systems. It is only the Linux.
Application can run, right?
Yeah, application you can run it.
Database
But
is not supported.
yes.
I think I have. There was
Yeah,
a
there
customer
will
where
be,
application
yes.
was running in Windows and database was running on Linux.
Yeah, it's about the database. Database cannot be in the Windows server. Application you can install with the Windows and you can connect it and it will be running fine.
Good. So yes, application servers can run in the Windows boxes, but HANA is definitely has to be on the Linux. And uh, one example is the Microsoft. So Microsoft, their internal systems and their landscapes, right? Microsoft also has a ERP. So they keep all the application servers on Windows, even though they don't like it, but they still maintain all the application servers on Windows, but they keep a HANA on the Linux. The reason is, Windows is Microsoft's product, right? So if they don't use their own product, then how do the other customers will purchase their product? Getting the point? So that is a very complicated architecture. So it is a very strongly, I've seen it. I worked on that landscape where all application servers are on the Windows and database on the Linux. So the biggest problem there, can somebody tell me what is the biggest problem? When you have applications on the Windows and database on Linux, it's a messy thing. What will be the biggest problem?
I think the file mounting is the biggest problem there. And the file naming convention will be the another problem.
So the thing is, the main biggest problem there is automations are not possible. Okay, see, if you have everything in Linux, your applications, your database, and everything. See, every customer or everyone, if you, I don't know, you guys use any automation scriptings at OS level, operating system level? Do you use the scripts? No. Hello.
Generally, yes, at infra side.
Yes, on the infra side.
rsync scripts, for in a high availability scenario or a disaster recovery scenario, from one server to the another server, you do files. I mean, SAP MNT, US or SAP, how do you ensure that they are in sync from that server to the server? You schedule rsync script every 5 minutes or 2 minutes or 10 minutes like that. Okay. See, the huge disadvantage of having this landscape on Windows and this one is, yes, you can have it. The biggest disadvantage is whatever you are developing the scripts, for example, a simple copy scripts on HANA, you can use for a different functionality on Linux server, I mean on application server as well. So these scripts you cannot copy. I mean, you may think that, hey, I don't need scripts and all. No, when you have a 100 system landscape, there is no way that you do a repetitive things. The current project which I am working on, you don't believe it. So if you ask me today, last week, tomorrow, I have a 250 systems kernel upgrade. I'll do alone. Is it possible? Can you do it? 250 system, I'm an SME, one SME on the shift, and one L1 guy triggers the automation. 250 systems get automated. 250 systems, kernel upgrade happens. I'm telling you. 250 systems, I'm writing it. So in 2 hours, the whole activity will be completed, and then you don't have to do anything. You just have your coffee and keep watching your screen. That's it. Or put one from Netflix. I'll tell you how we do. I'm giving an automation example, guys. So what we do here is, so we write the complete thing has been integrated. Okay. We will maintain a central repo where we have these kernel upgrade patches. Okay. And every month or as soon as SAP releases the kernel patches, right? Latest versions, because you have to do the kernel patches, as per SAP's recommendation, or else your systems are security vulnerable and security patches, and there's a lot many, whatever it is. So you have to go with SAP. There's no way. So why SAP you release so many patches? No, we can't ask. So it's as simple as that. So for example, this month, I have a kernel patch, 250 systems in across landscape I have to move, hit it to the whole landscape. So how do we do is, we maintain in a central repo. Okay. One central repo, NFS file, which is accessible on all the servers. I mean, it is standard build step actually. The moment you are building a system, that repo has to be available, and that repo will not be accessed by anybody. I mean, we have a strong file permissions, and only a particular user or SID ADM and that to master user who can only access it. And that also we have enabled it single sign-on. Okay. So that no unauthorized person will access those repos or because if he modifies some files, SAR files, then gone. I mean, entire systems will go with the wrong file. So that's the number one. We will put a pre-check. So as an SME, I log in and I'll check the correct repo is there or not. That's it. And then I will give a go for my L1 day. So what he will do? So we have a tool or a URL from which he will select my customer number. For example, I am working for an ABC. So each ABC has a customer number. He will select the customer number. 250 landscape, 250 systems are there in ABC. Okay. All 250 systems will be selected and with that customer number, and he will trigger the process. I'll tell you what it will do. So that particular process will trigger an automation mail to everybody in the world, telling that your system, all the respective people are already maintained, each of these contacts for each system, who is the business contact for that one. These are all the build phase itself we have taken. And if there is any change, customer will inform us, my customer business contact has been changed, and we maintain in that particular page. So it will read it from there, and it will trigger a mail that, hey, your system is going down so and so time, and he will put this change number, and that's it. Automated email has gone. Nothing has been done. Okay. And it also creates a ticket stating that there is a change. It will tell that this is there. It automatically creates, I'm telling you. So through ServiceNow, we have automated that. It creates a change request, and it will update the each task, process has been triggered. So the process will trigger 250 systems, the procedure. So 250 systems, first it will do, if there is any parameter has to be set, it will set the parameter, and it will stop the system. SAP control, this system commands we have automated over there using Python. So it will set the everything, and then it will stop the system. It will replace it will take a backup of the existing kernel in the same location, so cp -p, same commands, same whatever you do manually, it will do. And after the activity, it will check the kernel, and then it will update the wherever we have the system ref for it, that portal. So there it updates. The kernel has been upgraded, and this is the current version of this kernel. And after this, so once the system is up, it itself will do the get process list and get things and some checks in the system, and it will trigger an email stating that your system is up and running, and this is the thing. So only thing as an SME I have to do is, if some system has not been restarted, okay, if some system has been stuck or the procedure has failed, that is the only time I have to log in and look into the system. Okay, so that is the level of automation. So which is possible. 250 systems in 2 hours, it will complete all of them. So now, if you have your Windows on application server, and if you have in HANA, so then you have to write a tool descriptor PowerShell. Windows uses something PowerShell and those things. So you have to use those scripts, and you cannot leverage for all other customers. Suppose if you as an ADT, if you're supporting 10 customers, So whatever the scripts developed for this client are not useful for the other clients. So if you have 10 clients, all of them are on same, so you get benefit of one customer to the other customer. Okay, so that is the biggest problem when you go with this Windows, and it will create a lot many problems. You have to invest a lot of admin work and managing the system, stopping, starting. So automations are not possible, guys. So the way Linux, the capability of automation capability of Linux is much more better than the Windows. Okay, that's the huge advantage when you are with the Linux. So and HANA, what other database you can use? I mean, in Linux also you have Solaris, Red Hat. Have you heard of this? So and then you have
Yes.
IPX, HP UIX. So there are a lot of flavors. So what HANA which supports?
Red Hat and SELS.
Yes. So these are the two. Majority of them are on what?
SELS.
Yes. SLES means SUSE.
Yeah. Sure.
SUSE is the strongly recommended or strongly suggested operating system for the HANA. So any of these Linux flavors you can go, but for HANA they have standardized it just to avoid all these confusions. Each customer, even SAP also, it's a headache. So one guy is using Solaris and it behaves a little bit different, and then they reach to SAP, and SAP has to support multiple varieties. So it is as if you are running a hotel. If one variety, if it is the best, and if it is a biryani hotel, it is giving you excellent biryani, then for biryani you go there, and for him it works. Suppose if you put 10 to 15 varieties, so you need more resources, more people to cook, and more time to serve also. So same like for SAP, it is becoming complicated, so they have reduced it. Okay, so OSDB migration, sorry, OS migration, you do it separately. Don't merge with these conversions. Okay, because that has its own challenges. So conversion means you just focus on conversion only. So if you are in Windows, you move to the Linux first and get because same servers anyway you're going to use, so you're not wasting anything. So take 2 downtimes and do it. Okay, but DB migration you don't have to do separately. You do with this sum tool with the DMO option, database migration option. Okay, good. So number of parallel processes during uptime and downtime. Okay, what are these processes? So you can see this screen, right? Uptime processes, and then in the bracket downtime processes are there. What does this mean?
These will be
How
used with
many?
your pre-processing and execution timing.
Uptime means pre-processing.
Yes.
Okay. So downtime?
Execution, when the downtime starts, that time how many processes it will be using.
On what basis you define these things?
CPU and RAM.
Yeah, no, you said right, Mohan, but for which one? For the downtime one or uptime one?
I think for both we need to rely on that only.
There is one more important aspect.
Um,
You're just catching for uptime. Uptime, downtime, what you said is correct. So RAM and CPUs are the basic.
background process for uptime. Even background process for uptime.
Background
For
fine.
uptime, I think our system is also running, so we need to be very sure that the performance anyhow it will be impacted, but should not be so much impacted.
So this is also a very good concept you have to understand. So see, downtime, it is clear, the system is down, and even though you define more parameters, your system cannot handle, the available RAM or CPU. Okay, so considering, and again, don't define it too much. Don't define 100 downtime process. Your server will go on status. You have to reboot it. That is another mess. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you define as much number you want. See, let's discuss downtime, then I'll come to the uptime. So downtime, if you define 20 process, 30 process, as if and 100 process, all of a sudden that server, R3 load will start importing 100 parallel process. Tuck, 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 tuck. 100 process will be triggered, and the server will get overwhelmed, and then it goes to your hung status. Okay. So you define it based on your RAM and CPUs. So there is a note for that in the conversion guide, in the sum guide, it should be there. Okay, how do you define these If not, I will get you tomorrow. Okay, that note number. So it will tell you that based on your RAM and CPU, how many maximum processes you can define in downtime. And for the uptime thing, what you have to consider is, so you have to be very careful because it's a pre-processing phase. It is not a downtime, and your end users are using the system. And please do not spoil their work, because the moment you put more process here, so the dialogues won't be available, and then your users may not be able to use the system. The performance will get impacted. So what you do is, anyway, it's an uptime activity. So I generally plan it in such a way that, for example, it's an America system. Okay, I'm working on an America system where end users are America. So most of the traffic comes from America at that time. So I will do in India time or Europe time. Okay, so majority of the things, and then I will try to close it. Some tool will run with less number of processes only. Okay, I'm okay if it runs for 1 week or 2 weeks also. But it is important that you don't trouble those end users. Okay, that's why uptime, be careful. So don't put too many processes. So reduce it. And this thing you can assess it, as I said, in your mock run itself. Okay, so in your mock run, when you run it, you monitor your CPU, you monitor your memory, and you can also monitor your ST03, ST02, ST06 statistics. So how they are going up, and then performance analysis of the DV. So that part you have to do, okay, in mock run repetitive task. But uptime, please be careful. Consider your end user business, because it's not a downtime, it's an uptime. Okay, and then again, these R3 load processes, this right side one, number of parallel processes during uptime and downtime. So R3 load process uptime is same. The ones export or import purposes, and whatever the database export or import. So during downtime, how many? So as you can see clearly, downtime we have definitely put more number. Okay. So because system is anyway down, and I want to utilize the all my capability of the server to do the to take care of my import or the conversion. So see what happens if you define these R3 load processes downtime to minimum. What happens?
The downtime will increase and
Yeah.
it will take more time to complete.
See, both the cases is important. So one case is uptime case is, if you define more processes, you have a problem. It may impact the performance. So in the downtime phase, if you define less number of processes, then your downtime will increase. So, so be careful. So in your mock runs or refer to that note, I'll try to see that note and how to change these processes also. During the sum running also, you can go to the parameter section and you can change them. Okay. Or earlier, I think we have to go to one particular file and we have to modify them. I will check that note again, how to modify it. Okay. So this one I just suspended. Okay. Anyway, I will let you know the IP of this one. Okay. Before ending of the session, see, only thing is I removed this public static IP. Okay. So as long as this system is up and running, I'll ping you the IP. My kid, you can hear some background noises. Don't worry.
Okay.
No problem. We also have those problems. Some of us at least.
Yeah. So whoever is use for that fourth solution, use those IPs. Okay. Is that fine?
Okay.
Okay. Change the IP to that, because for this some system, when I assign, because you have only 5 elastic IPs which I can use. So unfortunately, I have to suspend it and use this. No, what I thought is, if I remove it, I thought the elastic IP may convert to non-elastic IP, but I thought the same IP will be maintained, but it is not the case. You're getting what I try to do. Okay. So I just removed this public static IP. The moment I did, it changed the IP completely. Okay. So anyway, use that. This parallelism. Sorry. Yeah. Meanwhile, I have downloaded this note. Yes, Mohan, I was referring to exactly this note. Okay. So all of you, these 4 sections, try to understand. So enter the maximum number of ABAP processes. Okay. So ABAP processes, what are these? What do the ABAP processes do? And R3 load I have explained at the bottom. Enter the maximum number of parallel R3 load processes, uptime and downtime. These are the export and import related EU import phase, and they takes care of it. But what are these processes? I mean, ABAP process. ABAP process is nothing but our work process, background dialogue. But in this case, it is relevant for the background work process. Okay. I mean, during the uptime, how many batch jobs it can trigger or it can use, or how many during downtime, how many it can use. So SQL process means, see, each of these is explained over here in the defines the number of parallel SQL statement to be run on the database at the same time. Okay, this is also a very critical metric, guys. So if you hit too many SQL queries like insertions, deletion, or changes, am I audible, guys? Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'm in the call. Good. So if you define too many SQL processes, so the database performance may be down, and also the log generation will be high if there are too many changes on the database. So be careful. So when the log generation is high and if your log backups are getting not getting backed up, so then what we are going to have? Archive stuck situation. Have you heard this? But archive stuck situation.
Yes.
Yes.
How do you remediate such a situation? What is it archive stuck situation?
When archive log storage is becoming full, we have to either extend or
Delete the old ones.
those or
Yeah.
move them to different location.
Yeah. So as a immediate step, whichever is quicker, if you have space in the different mount, just immediately move these logs to somewhere else. Okay. So move at least 10 or 15 and then start taking corrective actions and trigger the log backup. So later point in time, ensure that all these logs go, all the logs goes to the backup. And also if it is a production and you have this DR, right? You have to be very careful. So have you worked on DR setups?
Yes, for
Yes.
HANA.
HANA is fine. Oracle Data Guard.
On Oracle,
Yes.
we had the DR setup where whenever we had to delete the archives, we used to check whether the archive, the sequence of the archive numbers are applied in the DR or not. When they are applied, we used to delete the old ones, whichever are applied, so that we'll have enough space in the archive location for redo log generation.
Yes. So let me show you a simple thing. This is also an interesting thing because you may hit such kind of issues when you are working with the title page. Yeah. Okay. So see, basically in your DR data, you see my screen, right? Okay. Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
So
We can see.
yeah, this is how a generic DR setup looks. You have this data center one. I mean, EMDC means European Mega Data Center. Forget about it. Whatever your DC1 and DC2, just try to understand this diagram. So this is your production database, and DR setup. You have the standby database in Oracle. I'm talking about Oracle here. Via Oracle Data Guard, they have enabled this connection. So standby logs has to be applied from here to here based on your mode, what you select, synchronous or asynchronous. So this read log apply. So in which cases you set it to synchronous. I mean, synchronous means immediately it will goes and applies to the standby database. Asynchronous means, I mean, with the log from directory goes and apply over. Apply means recovery. Okay. So the log shipping happened to the standby database and then they recover over there. That is what I mean by the apply. Okay. So if you have a case scenario, be careful when you are moving. So extending the file system would be the best option if it is an Azure or AWS, because if it is quick, so extending would be the best option with one command so that the logs are available. In case if the logs have not shipped to the standby database, they can ship it. They can ship off some. So if you just move them to a different location, then your primary and DR database will go out of sync. Okay, have you worked on such scenarios where your DR database go out of sync with your primary database? What do you do in such cases?
In Oracle, there is a procedure that we need to follow to bring back the DR inconsistency when the redo logs are not applying or goes out of sync, which takes some time.
See, it's simple. See, you have a production database, and either you moved it or due to some reasons of network issue or something, the logs have not been moved to the standby database, and the logs were backed up. Okay. As soon as the logs are, you are deleting the production database. So then your DR database will be waiting for that log. There is a number, right? Suppose 100th log has been applied, and 100 to 150 logs already backed up. So they are not available in the production database. So which means this is waiting for those logs. So what do you do? So the simplest thing is first check which log was the last applied in the Oracle database. Go to the init that file.
Yes.
Yeah, and find out that which was the last log applied over here. I mean, and then you see that what were the backup taken those logs and bring those logs those logs from the backup. I mean, you can ask whatever the mechanism. So if it is a third party, request them to restore the log place in the read log. And then again the syncing will start. So based on the number of logs, if there are 100 or 200, I mean hardly it takes 30 to 40 minutes. So if it is thousands of logs, I mean 2-3 days you are least bothered about it. So then your restore will take time from the backup to the production database, and then applying also will take some time. Okay, so you have to ensure that your database will be in sync with the production. Okay, the next question I'm asking is, so the shipping in your case, whether you have enabled synchronous or asynchronous. I mean, as soon as the log generate, because logs in whichever is the database, all of them will return as soon as there are changes in the database. I mean, from this database, how quickly they go and sync with standby database with 2 gap, 3 minute gap, or how it will be, or as soon as the log generated here, it will not apply in standby database or not. That is a synchronous. I mean, as soon as the log generated in production database, immediately it will go and ensure that standby database is in sync. So what kind of mechanism? So that is the synchronous as soon as it comes. So see, in OLTP systems, we use the synchronous log syncing. In OLAP, BW and other systems where performance is most important over there. So what happens is, until this log goes and apply over here, then it will be writing for the log here. So it have a performance impact on this one. So that is in BW systems, we will ensure that log shipping 5 minutes gap. Okay, so that this transaction doesn't wait for this log to commit. You getting my point? So what happens is, when it is creating the log in the database, if you define it in such a way synchronously, so until this log gets synced with this transaction doesn't complete, which means you have long update times, long waiting time, long dialog response times. Okay, to avoid that in BW system specifically, you always ensure that there is a time gap, 3 minutes delay or 4 minutes delay. There is a parameter which you can set in Oracle parameter file. Okay, anyway, so this is the data guard concepts. I mean, DR concept. I mean, it is applicable whatever is the mechanism based on your. So this thing, where is my PPT? 1 second. Why I am talking this is, we are talking about a note, right? Yes. So why we are talking is, in this upgrade process, yes, you may hit with an any upgrade. You may hit with an too much of log generation, especially in the pre-processing phase. So you be careful in monitoring your DR database, whether you have enough space for the logs or not, or these logs are applying over there or not. If you face that thing, you have to act, as I said, either you move or either you extend the file system. Okay. So trans job, R3 trans. R3 trans is being used for the transport related imports. For example, shadow import. I mean, shadow, as I said, see, how do you differentiate R3 load and R3 trans? R3 trans will take care of the in the same system. So shadow also the same part of the system, in just a copy of this one. So trans related tables like DIDIC UPG and TABIM UPG upgrade tables. So these tables will be taken care by R3 trans. So be careful. I mean, this one is fine. I mean, you can define it. Should be able to not cause so much of impact. But R3 load, be careful. During uptime, try to have optimistic minimal number. During downtime, try to have more number. Okay, because if you don't take downtime, if you don't define too many R3 load, then your downtime will increase. Okay, so this is I mean, how to increase and all. They give you a clear picture of this, but just go through it. But I have never got a chance. I mean, by default, by running in mock runs itself, I will define these parameters, and based on the hardware, I will define the numbers. But anyway, this thing you guys can check. Let me go to this system screen. So it's just that IPs changes, guys. Let me, whatever systems you need, let's put it. Anyway, billing goes to the Baburaj. So don't worry. So I've been in the assessment. Okay, fine. Tell me, you need the first system. First system, there's nothing. First source system, right? We have terminated it. Do you still need that? Hello?
No, I guess first
Yeah,
system.
I mean, there's nothing we did much in the ERP system, right? So only thing is, as for HANA, we did custom code analysis, and cleanest tech we downloaded and we updated it. So only this system, which system you need more?
The second system is already equivalent to the first system, right? Just the post pre-steps are done. So
but I have not created your, okay, wait a second. So user serving accounts, oh my, I have not created the backup also. I should have created a solution out of that first system. So you want the first system also?
Not for me.
No, I guess.
No.
Then this S4HANA additional custom configuration one, yeah, this you can use it. So I pinged you the IP addresses, right? Can you please try to log in, one of you?
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, it's working. So I will ensure that this is running for the, so please explore this ATC custom configuration. So this lab 4, you can check it in this one. Okay. So this Eclipse and all works in this one.
Okay.
Here.
Okay.
So the RDP server also changed, right? The IP?
Yes.
Yesterday we had something else, but today.
Yes. Okay. So all of you, please note down these two things, guys. For the fourth system, I pinged in the chat.
I don't know. Okay. Sorry. The custom code was not showing any projects in it for some time.
No, it should be there.
No, now I got it. Yeah, it loaded after 5 minutes. I don't know why it took so much time.
It is just that the IP changed. Don't get
Yeah.
It's just that I've changed. I mean, I've removed that public IP, and I just wanted to try it, and it came. I mean, it removed that IP. It's okay. Okay. So what I will do is I'll try to do the. Yeah. Anyway, you get DLR5APT3CH. Anyway, in the exercise, there are steps to configure Eclipse also. No, please do it. I mean, you yourself configure with this new IP, so it will act as a practice. Okay. So let me see if I'm able to connect. Yes, I'm able to connect. Yes, guys. So what you do is Eclipse also will be there on this one. Let me see. It should be there. So you just follow the exercise steps given over the Eclipse is there. Okay, nothing will change. Only the IP. So use this new IP, ERP IP, then connect and configure it. I mean, practice these exercises. Okay. So any questions, guys, for today? Close. And then I do not want this ERP until Monday. Unnecessarily, I created it. So I thought tomorrow is a session, so I created it. Good. So I suspended it. So we don't need that until Monday. Okay. So any further questions for today? So I think you have again session at, 1 o'clock your work starts, right? So we will meet on Monday then. Okay. So I have noted down your this thing recordings and then PPTs and exercises. I want them to send it until today.
Nishan, just one question from my side related to the upgrade part where we define the processes. So you told that from the sandbox we will be understanding for the production system as well, right? The processes which we use. But the production server, if I go, like if you take it, it will be CPU and RAM and everything will be high when we compare to the sandbox system, right? So how we can make it sure that it will be the same processes?
Yeah, this is what in our initial, when I was explaining, I told you. See, the thing is, it all depends on the customer's this thing. I mean, see, the only way, how do you define the exactly your production is going to take this much time is you having the same server as of your production. Got it?
Okay.
Okay. So, and anyway, here we are talking about only two servers. Okay. So one is the primary application server. So take it as it is as the production, one server. And then HANA also, the database servers also, you take it as a production server. Okay. So take it and one server. Don't take a high availability, disaster recovery, all of them. No, only one database server, one application server. That is the best, I would say. Okay. Or so then, or you have to do a 250 GB of thing. I mean, you are based on your development and this one, how much time, and or you have to guess, man. That's it. There is no other way.
Okay.
So see, in our case, what we do is, you heard this word. What is this one? Performance analysis. No, performance not.
Yes.
So, what we do is, in our case, we have a centralized team, okay, who will define the templates for the production. Okay. So what they do is, they will set up the database 250 GB, 1 TB in AWS or Azure, all three cases same. Okay. Or 2 TB or 6 TB. Okay. So what we do is, that particular team will build the system on that particular template. Okay, if your database size is 2 TB, use this template. What do I mean by template? Template means your CPUs, these many CPUs are needed. These many file system is needed. File system space, 500 GB or 2 TB or 1 TB. So they will give you an exact template of AWS image or kind of thing, So just based on your database size, you just go with the template. I know this many RAMs or this many things. Okay. So you can tell that. How do those guys define those templates? I'll tell you what we do exactly. So what we do is, we build an SAP system because we have a very big customer, right? We have around 800 systems in our customer case. What we do is, the central team, so 10 people will be there. Okay. 10 or 15 people, their task is this only. They build the system. You may ask that, how do you get the production data? How do you mimic the scenario? So what we do is, we will build the database, we will build the application, and there are jobs who will push the dummy job. We have the scripts or the steps to replicate the exact production kind of scenarios. When you run 100 jobs, and we will hit the database until it reaches to go to a hung status. We will keep on hitting it with the dummy data. So many instances, so on, so things. So we keep dumping that database, and then how is your IO, how is your thread? We will keep monitoring reports on the server side. And after we'll put it a whole night, and then next day morning we will see the results. Okay. When we look into it, okay, when you take this template, these many CPUs, these many things. So this is the IO, this is the disk usage, and this much as data has been generated, and this is how the system has performed, and maximum RAM has gone is this much used, or the maximum CPU utilization is so and so thing. Okay. So if a customer who is having a 2 TB of database, this template would be more than sufficient, and we do it in a cost optimized way. Okay. Cost optimized means, you see everything, if you put a good thing.
Yes.
So I mean, that is good. But what we do is, we'll give the options. If you go with SDD device, this much. If you go with HDD device, this much. If you go with this one, this much. So like that, we create the templates, So we use that particular template and we go with that, and it's a customer choice. Because he can't have such a setup for the mock system itself, and spend too much for 6 months or 7 months. He has to bear that expenses. Okay. Or anyway, this AWS and all are pay per use, right? So I mean, whenever you want, start it and use it, and then stop it. That also you can do with your mock systems. Okay. So but even then, if you go with these templates also, we can't assure you that 100% that your production behaves as it is. The only way you do it is, you build an exact replica of your production. I mean, at least the database and the application server, and then you do the conversion and practice. I mean, do various runs and define the parameters. That's the only way. Okay, you got it?
Okay. Yeah.
Some customers will do with this template approach. where they have a dedicated team, and they will finally decide, I mean, with various experiences, with other landscapes, with the learnings, they will put the templates. If my database is size, go for the template. Okay. Yes.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.